Welcome to Epic Experiences. I'm your host, Sinitra Skillern, where we encourage people and inspire communities. You may not think you have something epic to share, but everybody does. Every experience, every interaction, every relationship is epic. Welcome to Epic Experiences. I'm your host, Sinitra Skillern. Remember, EPIC is an acronym. It stands for Encouraging People, Inspiring Communities. This is the platform where we come and just talk about all things epic. It could be anything under the sun. If you've watched past episodes or listened to past episodes, you know that we cover any and everything here. And today, I'm so excited. I'm always excited, but I'm especially excited because I have two very special people in the building. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into our topic for today.
Hi, my name is Tia.
My name is Shamsuddin, but everybody just say Shaheed.
And we are Markee Michelle's Mobile Mixer.
All right. Now, I am excited for a couple reasons. One, we've experienced, my husband and I, my whole family has experienced their business at a family event that we had, but I think the idea is so unique. And I think I've just watched it. I just told him, I get to see it on Instagram. We experienced it, but I get to see it on Instagram, but I'm so excited to have them here to kind of unpack how it came about, how they're managing it, like the dreams that they have, but really to encourage everyone listening or watching that if you have an inkling or an idea, go for it. Like, step out on faith and just really allow your dream to develop and really watch it grow. So, say the name one more time clearly so that people can hear it. What is it called?
Markee Michelle's Mobile Mixer.
Okay, Mobile Mixer. Okay, so I hear Markee Michelle, I hear Mobile Mixer. Y'all know mixers. A little drink, a little something. But where'd you come up with the name? Markee Michelle.
So Markee Michelle's, my mom's name is Markee and her mom's name is Michelle. So we named the business in honor of our mother. So they live on forever because we plan on being around for a long time.
I did not know that.
Yes.
That's so cool. So how did it come about? Like, was it your idea first, Tia, or yours, Shaheed? Did you see it together? How did it come about for both of you?
So the mobile mixer part came about in one way, but if we take it all the way back, we initially, Markee Michelle's, we do an event first as Markee Michelle during All-Star Weekend.
Oh.
So during All-Star Weekend, it was hard to get in All-Star Weekend. All of the big time promoters had all the spots booked up, and we luckily were able to get in, and we had the event with Little Scrappy.
Okay.
Down at Sausalito, and it was a big success. So the little dogs was able to hang in there with the big dogs.
Come on.
And that was the beginning of Markee Michelle.
So what was it? Drinks then too as well? Or
no, we just had the event.
Just had the event
and was able to sell it out in the middle of all of the All-Star Weekend.
Cool. So then, how did you take the event and say, okay, now we need to add the mobile mixer to it to kind of grow it, or was there some space in between those two? Like, what are we gonna do with this now that we add this event?
I'll pass it over to her, but the event costs so much. So we started you gotta think of it, we can't always go that big. So we started thinking of things that we can do immediately. And that can fund events to that level going forward. So you're not playing with your own bill money. You're making money to make money.
Yeah.
Then I'll pass it over to her so she can explain to you how it all.
What we did was we were able to use the money that we profited from the All-Star Weekend party, and then that's how we got our trailer. The idea of the trailer, we had something very similar. At our wedding. We got married during COVID, which you know. And so we thought it would be a really cool idea. It was still relatively new, the concept of having mobile drinks or a mobile bar, mobile mixer. And so we kind of went with that as an idea, something that would be cool that we could do at that time. Because our vision is huge. But our funding was not going to, be able to do the huge vision at the moment. We could do that. So that's how we got the mobile bar. We started that way first, small, and then our plan is to grow bigger.
And what's your trailer's name?
Pearl.
Yeah. If you go if you go to their Instagram, that's your picture, right? Is a picture of Pearl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so tell us about Pearl. How did you find Pearl? Acquire her?
So she had a vision of what the actual mobile mixer would look like, and she couldn't quite get it across to me. So I was looking at all kind of things that didn't look like Pearl.
Okay.
Did. So she would ride along with me, and I would get the vibe. This not it.
Okay.
This not it. This not it. So one day we were sitting at the kitchen table, and she had a guy she wanted us to call. So we set an appointment up with him, and he talked us through it. And the irony of everything is that we were sitting in the back, what you call it, the sunroom, and we weren't sure. It was a good deal, but we weren't sure, because once we were in, and you know, we prayed about it, and you can't make this up. We got the sliding door, and the sliding door was open, and it was a rainbow. And the rainbow, I gave telling her about the rainbow with God and what it meant, and I said, you know what, we're gonna do this.
I just got goosebumps.
We're gonna do this.
God's
And
promise.
we went on,
Yes.
and we moved forward with it.
Wow. That when you get pause right there, when you get that confirmation that's undeniable from the Lord, you like, because we wait for stuff from God. God, well, how you going? Is it going to be clear? Am I going to know? And in that moment, you got that confirmation. It's like, let's go. Let's go. And so Pearl was it. Now, Pearl, did she look like she looked now? Because she's painted white and she's beautiful. And
Well, it's a refurbished. Is that word? Refurbished?
Definitely.
Renovated,
refurbished.
yeah. So it's an old
Refurbished.
trailer. The original picture we had was totally different than what, of course, it looks like today. And then, you know, we were able to pick the color of it. We wanted it to be white, something that would, the aesthetics would kind of go with anyone's theme of their event. And that's pretty much it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Pearl was junk.
Yeah,
Pearl
it
was
was
somebody else's junk.
had been kind of just sitting
And
there.
it fit her vision, because this
Yeah.
was, you know, us coming through with the
Yeah,
vision
yeah.
she had. And I mean, and then came Pearl.
Yeah.
wow. And so we've talked about Pearl, we've talked about a vision, we've talked about the event. What exactly does Markee Michelle's do? What do you do? How does someone, we'll do that later, but what is it? We say a mobile mixer. What is a mobile mixer?
We are a dry hire service. So we provide the staffing for the event. We provide the mixers, the beverage, drinkware, your napkins, all the little small details. And then the individual who hires us is responsible for providing the spirits. So like anything additional that they would like us to serve is what we'll serve. We're a dry hire here in Ohio.
Okay.
And we try to match it as best as possible, the aesthetics for whatever the event is. We try to make it so that it looks like it's uniform with whatever the client is seeking out. We've had a variety of different events that we try to, you know, have Pearl kind of match with the theme of, and everyone has been really, really pleased with it. But we are a dry hire service. We pull up to wherever the location is that allows us to be able to serve the drinks. So the client is responsible for purchasing spirits, and then we bring everything else and the staffing.
Right. And so I'm gonna give y'all some personal, like, we actually had them at we had a family event last summer of 2023. Yes. And description is good, but let me tell y'all the experience we had. This takes your party, whatever you doing, from here to here, because it's not just there was water stations for the kids. Nobody wanted for anything from a liquid perspective. Like, it wasn't, because who bringing the water? Well, let me bring 5 cases of water. You bring that? None of that. Everybody was able to, it's something you don't think about. You think about it, you have to provide it, but we didn't run out. You know what I'm saying? We didn't run out. and we had a signature drink.
Yes.
So we got to pick a signature drink that was like, and it's on a board, so it kind of says it. So everybody's like, what is this? And nobody knew what it was. They're like, what is that? And how, where did this come from? And so it really elevates. And it was just a picnic. Like literally just a family barbecue. But it literally elevated to a whole nother level. And so much so that when we do our family reunion next year, we're planning it again. Hopefully we can get on the books. You know, they booked and busy, but it really, 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 really takes it to the next level. It's so unique. It's something that's so unexpected. People don't think about it as something to do. It's so worth it. We really enjoyed it. At some point in this video, I did a little Instagram reel. I'll attach it to this in some kind of way so you can kind of see just what happened at our event at the park. But it was dope. And y'all can go to Instagram because always posting stuff because they're everywhere. So tell us some of the events that you've done. I know for us you did a picnic, but what else have you done?
We've done definitely weddings.
Weddings.
Done weddings. Done during last year when Barbie was the huge thing. We had some Barbie bachelorette parties, so that was a lot of fun. We've done a few corporate events. We did Westfield. They had it for their staff. We had collaborated with Habitat for Humanities. And so we provided the mocktails, because we do mocktails.
Okay,
we did the mocktails for the staff, and they came out as like a staff appreciation. Retirement party. So we have a nice vast of different events we've hosted. And I can honestly say, and thank you for the compliment also, it definitely is it brings like the wow factor to a lot of events, and it makes your guests say, ooh, what is that?
Yes.
And it's a great conversation piece. So
Yes.
I think that's one thing that a lot of the brides and people who have booked us before has said that their guests were very pleased. And then I can say, not to toot our own horn, but
please do.
We do a really great job being together as the staff, as the bartenders, and we really do well working with each other. Kind of seeing the guests, learning the guests as the evening goes on. Knowing exactly when they come up to you what they're going to want, what they're going to ask for. What signature drink is their favorite. So we do a really good job with that, making your guests feel welcome and enjoying the event. Our whole goal is to make sure that everything else that the bride or the client is looking forward to, they're having to worry about that, but we have the outside with Pearl covered. They don't have to worry about the drinks or anything of that nature.
Not at all. They saw when my cup was empty, and before I knew it, I was like, oh, thank you. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like remember, this was a year ago, so I just remember. I was like, oh, every time I turned around, every time my cup was empty. I don't get it twisted, but every time I was like, oh yes, a refresher. Like it was never just that attention to detail, like you said, and that's important because it's not. I remember some of my coworkers who came, and when you said they anticipate, like they walked up, and I'm not sure we had two, but that was just it. Like, oh, I think you gonna want X or whatever, and then just the interaction and the engaging of our family, and it was just like I was just chilling too, and like hanging out, but it was also just fun. It was just fun. Y'all made it fun. It wasn't like a separation. Like y'all here, like it all meshed together, and so that we really felt, felt that it was the wow factor is a perfect way to describe it. Really.
I think that's something that there's so much work that goes into it before we even get to the event, and that's all her. We've been at several events where they've had multiple, what am I looking for? Vendors. Okay. And they've always come up to her and said, you have been the best one to work with. And I'm just no making it up or anything. It's because how many consultations she has with the people before we get there. And then she comes and explains it to me, and then we set what the expectations would be of what they would want. And then when we get there, we try to supply everything, but we have a good idea of what they want, what the vibe of the crowd will be. If this is going to be a crowd we need to joke with, is this a crowd we need to kind of help them loosen up? But if it's a bride and groom, we're going to make sure we attend to the bride and groom. We try to make it where they don't have to come up. We want them to come up at least once to get a picture. But we
Yes.
try to make sure they don't have to come up.
Okay.
You got a whole bunch of guests to entertain. So
Yeah, that's so dope. So how do you do indoor events? Like if when you know we in Cleveland, so when it gets a little cold outside, what happens in the winter time or the winter months?
So we've expanded year over year. So our first year we had Pearl. The next year we got what we call Charlotte.
Oh.
Charlotte is a satellite bar.
Okay.
So for a lot of our indoor events, and it's custom designed, black and white, and now we've added 2 other bars that we have. So Charlotte is white and black. We have Rosie.
Names.
Rosie, that is pink, and then what's the Good Time? Good Times is it's all black bar.
Okay.
And then you can kind of customize it to what you
Wow.
want, and that way that indoors you still have a bar. Anybody can bring you a bar, but a bar that fits your party, that we can design for your party, and then we can even drop it off. We'll drop it off. We'll make you drinks, and we'll fill the drinks up, 3 different drinks. And then your drinks are already there, and then it's a self-serve.
Is that the what's the thing I saw? It's got all the little holes in it. What's that?
Okay,
that's
that's
the
another
shot
one.
card.
That's
Okay,
another-
Forget about the shot card. Yeah.
The shot card that we different packages. So ideally, that the thought of it came for a wedding, and we had our best shot card experience this past weekend, where the bride and groom took the shot card and they went from table to table, and they were dancing, and they gave and they would take a shot with the guests. Now I didn't know he was gonna take a shot with every guest. I didn't know that was gonna happen, but
Wow.
but that's it. Just these are new things that we're trying to think of. As a business, you got to evolve. Pearl is phenomenal. And that's the base. But the additions that we're trying to add year over year to even liven up the experience even more.
For sure, and have options to get right. Because even in the summer months, you can still do indoor stuff. You're not only doing outdoor things, but to be able to have indoor, outdoor, just meeting everyone's needs, especially with this unique concept. And so in the city of Cleveland, are there any other, and we ain't pumping nobody else up, but what's the competition like in Cleveland? Because before you, I'd never heard of anything like this before.
I mean, there's a few of them.
Okay,
Some of them have on tap for the beer.
Okay.
Some of them. There's one he has more trailers than we have. He's been around for a while with it. But I think that the difference between us and everybody is the 2 of us. When you at a wedding is an atmosphere of love. So why not 2 people in love come to an atmosphere to help bring that? When we go to the graduation parties, we have children, so we know how to entertain the children. We're there.
Yes.
So it's not just about serving drinks for us. It's about creating a good time.
Yes.
So I think that's what makes us a little bit different than anyone else.
And it shows. And so working, being entrepreneurs and having full-time jobs, because me and Jay do the same thing. How and the lines can get blurred or crossed or whatever. How do you keep it such that the can't think of the word, but the fact that you guys keep working well together? And I know being married and working, like all those things, how do y'all keep it where that love is still flowing as you continue to work together?
I can say, I think one thing, and it probably more so this year, we started to kind of figure out exactly what our strengths were within the business.
Okay.
We both have alpha personalities, right?
I totally agree.
I would say we both have alpha
totally
personalities. And so I have a vision, he has a vision. And so it was good that we kind of one day just kind of decided, okay, this is what we're going to try to do moving forward. I'll do the consultations, I'll make the calls, I'll try to make sure that I'm keeping up with the different clients. I am a little bit probably not as firm on pricing as he would be.
Okay.
So we had decided that he would do the initial, what would it be called? I guess it's
The initial consultation,
Initial
where we're picking
consultation.
your package
Okay.
and
Yeah.
how much it'll be and
Okay.
customizing it to your needs.
And then the follow-up would be me kind of coming in and going through all the details.
Okay.
And doing another like customization, how, your colors and the time and the location, things like that. So I think that was a big thing we kind of had to kind of learn and grow with, because
That's
we were
key.
kind of overlapping at first, or I was probably taking charge, and he was feeling like, okay, now here I am, So we kind of figured out what each other's strengths were in the business and how we could both contribute to it.
That's good.
That's the main thing.
That's
Contribute
good.
to it, because working a full-time job, I can say this. Probably the last 2 weeks has been very difficult, as far as just us having a very, very hectic schedule.
It has, man.
Where we have children who are in sports. We both have our full-time jobs. We had 2 events. One event was on a Sunday, and it ended 11,
11 o'clock.
and it was 2 hours away from our home.
So you figure that's 1 o'clock at best. You're gonna get home.
Yeah. And you still gotta work down. You still gotta.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that neither one of you had Monday off.
No.
No, neither one.
So.
Right.
Neither
So
one.
you can't just be like, I'm just gonna burn up all my PTO.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So we kind of learn how to. So I think we're just probably recuperating from that a little bit now, and that it's been something like every day that we've been doing. Definitely a blessing. We always consider everything we do to be a blessing. To be able to just enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah.
But it can be a little tiring.
I think the hardest part is that she's always watching me to make sure, am I overtired or am I tired of it? Then I'm always watching her.
Yeah.
So then we can be overbearing to each other, trying to make sure that the other one is okay.
Yeah,
but they're
asking
actually
you okay too.
okay.
Yeah, right.
Right. That is very true.
So,
Yes.
but we're finding a balance. It's not easy. It's
Yeah,
not easy. If
absolutely.
you notice growth, she used the word growth, and growth doesn't come easy. But we've learned we haven't failed at anything, but we've learned, through how to do stuff better and better and better each year. So, but that week that we speak of, I mean, we had a game. Was that a football game on Friday, Thursday? Something else on Friday. Saturday we both had meetings. I believe we had a meeting. Whatever it was, there
Every
wasn't
day.
a day off
Yeah.
until Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that was, but we've learned to maximize our time that we have with each other too, because in doing business, if you don't pour into this, then
That's
the business doesn't even matter.
Right, and that's where I was going next. Like, how do you find time for just Tia and Shaheed when you can get away? You got kids, you got individual jobs, you work together. It was like the weekends is when you can kind of have some time for yourself to date, but then your calendar is saying, well, we need to. Yeah, it's full. So how do you do that?
So right now, we're already talking about next year's vacation. So you block off your vacations first before you even open up your calendar to the world to be able to take up your time. So literally, just yesterday we were talking about next year's vacations. Then we'll look at things like concerts. Well, I'll look at them. and I'll just book the concerts so that I know that we have these days already set aside for us. Comedy shows, going out to dinner, but you start also learning how to just enjoy the smallest little thing, like watching TV together. You start enjoying that. You look forward to it. It may not be but the last hour and a half of the day, but you start learning how to enjoy it. It doesn't always take money and. In our earlier days, we were going out for everything. We were going. Now we're both tired. Sit down, kick your feet up on me, but I enjoy that. I look forward to that every single day.
Yesterday or last night, Jay said he was like, we need to pick a day and just watch old movies. Because he was like, don't he look like somebody from New Jersey Drive? And I was like, I've never seen New Jersey Drive. He's like, what? And so he was like, okay, we need to make a list, and we just need to pick a Saturday and just kind of watch old movies all day. And I was like, right. I was like, I like that. And it's like this weekend, I'm like, maybe not this weekend, but one weekend when we don't have anything to do, you know, and just as few and far between as those are.
I was gonna say,
But then even during the week, like, even though it's hard trying to find a day where both your schedules are free, it's just so challenging. But like you said, you have to be intentional, because that sounds like intention, and blocking off, and so that time is so much more precious because you have said, this is us. This is family time. This is our time. These things are set in place so that then you can enjoy the other things, you know, the work, because you know.
That's it.
Right.
You see that
That's
date that
it.
circles?
Exactly it.
Countdown
That's what we were
starts
doing.
and all.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Yes.
you kind of know that it's coming, and being intentional, because, I mean, you got to take your time. You know, that PTO from the job that you work, and then, you know, taking time off from the business. It's like you can't be like, oh, I need to, we often talk about the word grind. And it's like, oh, I'm on a grind, I gotta grind. But, and I've said this here before, when you think about the actual, what grind is, it wears something down.
That's true.
And it's like, so yeah, we're grinding, but it's like, is that a good thing? Because you're wearing yourself down as you continue to grind. And so it's like, ooh, I love the concept, but then as you let it settle in, I'm like, ooh, wait a minute.
That's a good point.
Maybe I don't want to grind.
That's
You
a
know,
good point.
yeah, it's like I don't know if I want to do that to myself, because you wear yourself. You're wearing yourself out anyway. Just because we're older, we get. But you know, you're like, man. But then you have a dream, and you want to step out and do things and grow.
Right.
And so thinking about that, would you like Markee Michelle's to retire you from your full-time jobs? Is that even on your radar or your scope?
Mine is every other day.
Definitely. So the thing is that if it could, and that's the plan for it to retire us. You know, Markee Michelle's is the umbrella. The mobile mixer is one aspect of it, and then we'll have a couple other things coming. But the idea is to actually have it retire us from our job. Because the point is not just to make a bunch of money, is to get back time. And if the only way you get back time is if you're the one who controls the time. And as long as you're punching in and punching out, you're not controlling the time. So that's what we wanted to do. What better than, you know, if we have different aspects of it, then, you know, you check on this one, I'll check on that, and then we're done at 2. You know, we're done at noon. And that's just the bigger events. You know, you never want to get so disconnected that you don't know what's happening in your business. If the us factor was what helped build it, it's the us factor that'll help keep it.
That part. Oh, yeah, that's good.
You know, so
that's good.
they don't want to get that far removed, but we definitely wanted to retire us.
Yeah, that's and when you said every other day, it sounded like me, because I'm like, this how many cakes I need to sell to replace my income. I was like, I got that. That's in a file on the computer. I know that number. But it's like, because I'm not saying what is it for. It serves a purpose. If it's, you know, to have, you know, multiple streams of income, if it's to have a savings, if it's whatever it is, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's like, no, we can compartmentalize and have it here and do this thing, or we want it to be the greater thing. Both are right. And so I just wanted to hear your aspect on, hey, is this something that, you know, we are going to launch? And like you said, here's the umbrella company, and from that we're going to branch. We want to branch off and do multiple things. So let's just dream and go. Would you keep it local in Cleveland, or have you even thought about like outside of Cleveland and Ohio and all of that? Like, if you just sat back and say, babe, let's just dream. Like, what would you? Is that even something you've thought about?
It probably would definitely, I would say, expand throughout Ohio for sure, because the mobile mixer has. So what we can do with the different visions that we have, we definitely can expand through Ohio. Now, we do have different connections outside of Ohio, but once you get outside of Ohio, then it's who you can partner up with a lot of the times too, because we do have a great support here. We do have a lot of people who trust us. Now, our clientele has expanded broadly now, but we but we do have, it's something about just Cleveland and branching from Cleveland. So I believe we can. And I definitely would love to. You know, I would definitely love to head down south to check on the business and then just stay 6 days. You know,
that time you were talking about, like I have the flexibility to do that. To do that. Now, do you think this is something that your children are interested in, or like would you leave it to them after so long, or because kids may not be interested in what mom and daddy do, but
we've had this conversation before.
Okay.
So ideally, yeah, it could be, but would they want to do it? I doubt it. I doubt it. And well, our children, they just have different visions. Now, maybe the little guy might, the little one, maybe he might, because he seems to be one of the most interested in actually the event itself, being there. He would serve drinks if he could. But outside of that, I think they just have their own dreams.
Yeah, and that's fine, because you don't want to be like, son, you're going to grow up and take over the family business.
Right.
And then they begrudgingly do it and run in the ground. It's like, at this point, we've learned from seeing other, family business where it's like they didn't really want to do it. This was grandpa's dream.
Right.
Now I'm doing it. And it's like, my heart's not in it. And so then it just kind of falls to the wayside. But respecting that as parents and saying, I'm not, you don't have to live, I don't want to live through you.
That's it.
This is my dream. You have your dream and do what you want to. And that's a gift to children. That's a gift to not feel that burden of I have to do or I'm gonna let my parents down or something like that. So that's good you had that conversation, because and it's just casual, like, you think the kids want to do? And that's cool. That's cool. I guess we've addressed that already, but some challenges. Well, I would say maybe not challenges with you all, but like, have there been challenges with events? Like, and I'm not talking about like difficult clients or bridezillas or nothing like that, but just like trying to put on, or just whatever challenge. I don't even want to define it. Just some challenges that you guys have experienced over the years.
I'm sure we'll probably share the exact same biggest challenge. Was the one, it was this year when we were supposed to, Pearl was supposed to go on the inside of a building. So when we went around back, we didn't know that there was the elevator was about 2 feet off the ground. So we had already booked this deal. We told them and they believed in us. So we knew that we would probably take a loss. So we went and got a tow truck because we told them that we could do it. So we went and got the tow truck.
With a flatbed.
The flatbed, and he lifted up, he slid all the way up to it, and then come to find out the elevator door doesn't open all the way up.
And you couldn't even get Pearl inside.
It didn't matter now.
No.
And, they were like, well, it's only a few inches, we can flatten the tires. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that now. We're not going to sacrifice and this wasn't the bride and the groom saying that this was just the facility. Then so I'm like, well, maybe we can push the door harder. So at that point, neither one of us wanted to mess up our investment, so we could respect each other on that. So what we did was we improvised. She talked to the coordinator, and we ended up putting Pearl at the front door. And so we served the welcome drink, and then we had the bars on the inside set up so that you would still get the experience, a custom bar. Yeah. And the funny thing about it is, once we did that, then somebody else kind of asked for that, except they used a shot card. But the welcome drink idea was the idea that caught. So, but it was that was probably the most, because we panicked. We panicked.
I was going to ask
we panicked because I'm like, this is the bride, we have to do something. Because I just think about her. during our stuff with COVID, and so I'm very empathetic as it pertains to the bride, the groom too, but the groom will just the groom, the groom, but the bride.
You happy? Okay.
Right.
But yeah, that was probably our biggest. Would you say the biggest?
I think
one?
that was the biggest one. That the biggest difficulty is always challenging trying to estimate the crowd as far as how much of everything to bring. We provide the soft drinks also in different packages, so trying to make sure we have enough of the soft drinks for everyone. Making sure that we are, timely. That's something we kind of learned that, okay, if you were to go to, a brick and mortar bar, you may have to wait a moment for your drink. Everything's not instant. So we are making, a drink, you want a cocktail. So we have to we're learning that it doesn't have to be rushed. I think that's kind of the biggest thing. It's just the challenges is that we just, that one we had, by the end of it, we had lost so much money. The investment of we had to get the tow truck. And then, regardless that it didn't fit, we still had to pay him. Leaving work to make sure, different things like that, different sacrifices. But that was probably the biggest one that we had. So our goal is always to make sure that the client is happy and pleased at the end of the event. And so I think she was okay, but
they seemed pretty good about it. I mean, but they still got the experience that. Us with there was people calling her by her first name. There was families taking pictures with her. So the experience was excellent.
Had a great time.
It was a really good time. We entertained, as well. So I think that she was really happy. Now her crowd came at the same time. So that line went all the way out the door, and we had another bar set up on the inside. But they didn't open that door, so we were the only bar for that time. So but they were really cool. They were a really good group of people there. We had a good time.
Good. And just the uniqueness of it all, I think it's like it's worth it. It's like, oh, this is so nice. And the fact that even though you had to pivot and then there was some panic, but then you pivoted again. And it was like, okay, this is gonna work. Because it wasn't like, well, we just can't do nothing. Like that, I think that would have been a disappointment. It's like, but no, it's like you still wanted to make sure that they had the best experience possible, because that's what it was about. And I'm sure they felt that. Like you said, you guys show up and you are empathetic and you just know that it's important, and they feel that. It wasn't you tried to everything. Let's lift the door. Let's flat the tire. It's like, but it wasn't like you didn't give up. And that perseverance is what separates good businesses from great businesses. It's like we need to make sure that is what the goal is the client. Because what we don't want to do as entrepreneurs is get into a headspace where it's like you, the client, are what is it? I treat you like you doing me a favor, or however that phrase is. But it's like, no. It's a client. I'm in the people business. You know what I'm saying?
Make the customers.
Yes, you're going to tell 3 times as many folks if you had a bad experience than if you had a good experience.
Yeah, that is very true.
Like, you're going to go out and be like, don't, especially now with social media. Forget it.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Forget it. You want to make sure, as much as humanly possible. You got some folk that just, no matter what you do, but for the most part. And so that sounds like a challenge. And so I'm glad you admitted to the panic, because I'm in my brain, I'm like, so what they do? Was it, was y'all just like, oh, we was calm and cool and collected and we just made it work. You like, no, we panicked. We were trying to figure it out in the moment. Just now, was this all in the same day, or was it like the day before you figured this out, and with the elevator and all that?
Well, we were dropping Pearl off for the day early, right?
Okay.
We were going to drop Pearl off a day early so that it'll be in the inside before they got there decorated. So this was the plan. This was the day. And the next day we were...
Been to the venue. We had seen the venue. Had did the inside. It could fit. we measured the elevator from the inside to make sure the width
Okay.
and but we just never realized that the outside that it was
Off
3
the
feet
ground.
up off the ground. But we said, okay, we can still do
We
it.
gonna
It's
make
still
it
gonna
happen.
make it work.
Yeah.
Where it's at the time now. And when he called, and of course it was raining, he said it did not. The doors would not go all the way up.
Who would have thought?
Right.
I'm like, y'all need to fix this. It may have worked for y'all because you just got people walking through, but like, well,
Right.
or whatever. But man, so at the end of a night like that, or at the end of a challenge like that, and you look at each other, like, do you like? I don't know if y'all got like a fist bump or high five or whatever y'all do at the end, and like, we did that, like as a team. Like, how does it make you feel as a team?
We do a high five
Okay.
every single. Once we get in the car, everything's packed up. We do our same high five, and we're like, we got it. We did another one.
Yeah.
We did
It's
another
a good
one.
feeling.
It's a very good feeling. But it's not until everything's packed up.
Yeah.
So the event is not over until everything, because a hiccup can come from the
Yes.
unpacking all the way to the packing back
Yeah.
up. And once we got everything packed up, once we've at least seen the bride, the groom, or the parents, coordinator somewhat, but the coordinator not gonna give you the emotion of how
Right.
successful the
Yeah.
event was,
Yeah.
like a parent or
Right.
the bride and groom.
Yeah.
And we head on out then, but an event like that, we definitely lean back in the car for a minute
Next day
and,
restore.
Yes.
and
Yeah,
Time, her sister, was a great. She came in, helped us out, was one of the extra bartenders, and they really helped us. They helped keep us grounded as well through it all, making sure everything was okay.
Good.
Gave us a lot of pride. I think it was from her. I think it meant a lot because she was like, I don't know how y'all do this.
Yeah, because you're standing up, and depending on where you're at, inside of Pearl, he can stand up completely inside of Pearl, but you're still kind of leaning over to look out the window. So by the end of the night, we do a ride home, and when we get to the house to get out the car, everybody's like hunched over, and take our little ibuprofen, so we can get up in the morning the next day and not be as sore. But it's a fun experience to be able to do it with my husband, with Shaheed. It's a lot of fun. We really enjoy doing it. The anticipation of how do we think the crowd's going to be, and we try to figure it out beforehand, and then kind of at the end of the night we have I usually kind of fall asleep, I admit it, but we on the ride home kind of talk about how we think the event went, different things, as I said, we're growing, so different things that we may change for the future, but it's a lot of fun. It's a nice business that we have together and doing it together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So is your 2025 getting booked already? Yeah.
It's doing pretty good.
Right. I'm sure.
So when we started in 2023, I think we had a couple things on the book for 2024. I think we got the same amount of events that we have for 2023 almost on the books for 2025 already.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Praise God for that.
Yes.
That is amazing. That is so great. It's just when you see in your mind's eye, and then you're like, okay, and then you have a plan, and then you work the plan, and then the plan is like, okay, now it's even bigger than what I thought, or it's like, I didn't even how did this person even hear about me? I know we on social media, but you just get this word of mouth, and you get all the traffic and all the traction, and it's just like, okay, this
really
is
nice.
And then take you back to the rainbow. Like, God, you
That's
said
it. That's
just
it.
take it back
That's
every
it.
time, and it's like, Lord, thank you for that. Thank you for this whole thing, and just providing, you're a part of so many experiences for other people. Like, that's the thing. Like, you're a part of it. It's just like you get to experience, you get to see people's faces, you get to be a part of all these great events for hundreds, approaching thousands of people. Like, that's coming, and it's like, wow, to know that you leave a little piece of yourself with them in a great way. It's such a blessing to serve in that capacity. And so, how would you? Somebody is at home and they have an idea, and they're like, but this, but that, but I work, but I'm a mom, but I'm a dad, but all these obstacles that they're putting in front of themselves. What encouragement or what inspiration would you give to people who are sitting on something that they feel is a good idea, but they're just really apprehensive? And it could be, both of you can speak to that.
I would say write out a plan. Write out a plan. Pray on your plan. Put action steps to your plan, and then put it into motion. Be very mindful who you share your plan with, because everyone that you may share with sometimes doesn't have the same vision as you. And that was something we had to work on. I forgot about that. We first decided we were going to do it. It was a lot of different conversations back and forth with our family members. You know what I'm saying? And we just said, you know what? We're not going to tell anybody. And so he surprised me when we got Pearl. So when I came home from work, Pearl was in our driveway. It's like my early birthday is our early birthday present. And so we had invited all of our family over, and we wanted them to come bless. And so they weren't to come bless Pearl, right? Come bless the business, come bless Pearl. And they didn't know what they were walking into. They're like, what's going on? What is this on the thing? And I just remember Mom walking up like, what is that? You know. So we didn't tell anyone. It was like we didn't want anyone to say, oh, well, that's too much money, or how are you guys going to do this? It was at that point, it was like, you know what? We believe in the vision, and we're investing into the vision. We'd love everyone to come and support it, but, we're going to wait until we get it. And then we want you guys to come to the home, to bless it, and then kind of go from there. So I would say just, have a plan. Know that you will have some setbacks, but those are always growing pains. But definitely, be mindful of who you share your vision with, because everyone doesn't have your vision. But, and it does take time, because I think sometimes I get like, when is it going to blow up? When is it going to blow up? Because he sees and he'll try to, take some of the load off, like, okay, it's looking good. He's the calm in the storm. I'm the storm. I'm the storm. He's the calm in the storm. Because he can tell when I'm getting like riled up, like, he's like, okay, Tia, what do you need me to do? So I would just say definitely to just, stay calm, continue on a path, but definitely have people surround you, surround your vision and with people that that love you and care for you, but always, you don't have to share everything. But also just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, and take baby steps. You may not be able to get to the big prize at that moment, but you can do something small, and eventually it's going to snowball to get to where you're trying to go to.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It only has to make sense to you.
Ooh.
That's it, but make sure that it makes sense to you.
Right.
So.
That is so good. That was the same sentence twice, but that was good.
That's really it. And it, like she said, I'm the calm one, so I think that sometimes I'm so calm that she might think I'm uninterested. Because I don't think about it 24/7. I turn my mind off sometimes, and it'll seem like I'm not excited, but I really try to think and do all business between about 8 to 6 o'clock, and I try to turn it off at about 6 o'clock, But the thing is, well, in that time, we literally just had a conversation a couple weeks ago. And she had made the statement like, depending if we're going to do this or something to that relevance. And she made the statement about 3 or 4 times. And finally I said, why do we keep saying this? What are we saying? And I think it was kind of like because the bigger vision isn't looking like it's coming into fruition. But the fact that we still exist as a business and growing as a business, is it coming into fruition? And I remind her that in 3 years, the average business is not even profitable yet.
That part.
It's not even profitable. Right. But here we are, we have a self-sufficient business that You know, we actually can pay ourselves from time to time with it, and it's doing really well. We could pay ourselves often, but that's not what we're in it for right now. So, you know, I just reminded her of that, and it's because I have an opportunity, Jay. I have an opportunity to talk to other entrepreneurs who I'm seeing where their business has grown, you know, and that's something in the next year or so. I don't need to affiliate myself with a bunch of people or anything. That's not what we're trying to do. But I do want to fellowship with quite a few people that have the like mind. That when we get down, they can give us a call. That can. So that's another thing I would say. You know, try to get affiliated with like-minded people as well. You know, meaning that they're married, you're married. They're trying to grow theirs with their spouse. You're trying to grow yours with your spouse. That's like-minded.
Yeah.
So that's what I would advise, you know, because that's some advice that we're going to take.
That's good. That's good. That is so good. Wow. Talk about backstory. But I mean, this is, like I said, I was like, I just can't wait. I know like this much. I know this much, but I'm so grateful. That word has just been like overarching my life lately. Just to think about just what I get to do. You know, and so it's like, you know, I get to do, you know, fill in the blank. And so, you know, to have the opportunity that you have, you get to, you know, enhance other folks' experiences, and then you get to work with your spouse and your, you know, and it works. It's not like, oh, here we go, about to be at this. Like, no, like we like each other,
right?
Like, and you know, right? And exactly, you know, and I think this is about to be a little squirrel moment, real quick. But what's taken for granted, I believe, sometimes is, or on the opposite, the assumption is that you're not supposed to like your spouse for real. You know what I'm saying? I hear sometimes people like you know, when you was like but like you said about the TV, we have our shows. Like we sit down like, okay, what's tonight? Like we'll watch our shows because that's what we vibe on. Right, but it's like you should enjoy your spouse's company. And then when you hear it, when you cannot co-sign with somebody, it's like, no, I like my husband. Right. You know, then you coming off all kind of like, well, I'm sorry, but I don't have one of those to share. You know, but getting to work together and grow a vision and do all of that it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? And again, not if, you know, you had your entrepreneurial experience, you had yours separately, those are still fine, but to do it together and to be able to, you know, have the challenges and high five it up and, you know, take the ibuprofen, all the things, you know, but just really get to do it together and your children get to see all of that. Like it's a good example that is not often shown. You know, it's always the bickering, or it's the, you know, that thing where it's like, yes, marriage is hard, but it's beneficial. You know what I'm saying? It's worth it. Let me say that. It's worth it. There you go. And so to have you on and to come and share out of your experience, to encourage folks of just every walk of life, whether, you know, whatever your dream is, to do it, to listen to the advice that they've given you, and to really not only have it make sense, but it should make sense. Like that part, I'm like that. Write that down. Like make sure it makes sense. Like don't be out here just all willy nilly. You know what I'm saying? But thank you again for in the midst of your busy schedule. Like what you said, I was like, wow, took a Tuesday evening. I'm like, Lord, this is so good. But I do appreciate you all for saying yes and coming on, and I pray nothing but God's richest blessings on you both, and your business and your ventures and just everything that you all just touch, that God just blesses it in the future. It is a great concept and a great business, and just I'm glad that we got to experience it personally, and we will experience it again personally. But tell them where they can find you on socials. Where can they?
We're at Markee Michelle's on Instagram, and we do not have a Facebook account. Markee Michelle's.
So is it spell it
Markee Michelle's Michelles.
All right, you've heard it. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. Thank you all for joining me, y'all.
Thank
This
you
has
for
been
having us.
epic.
Thank you for
having
Absolutely.
us.
Thank you
Take
for
care,
having
y'all. Oh, yeah, I'm giving out y'all's. So, Epic Experiences is on Instagram. Epic Experiences is on Facebook. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. You can watch on YouTube. Woohoo! And you can listen to past episodes on YouTube. But this year in 2024, we have all of the actual videos where you can watch us. So check us out. Like, subscribe, share, turn the notification bell on, all the things. And thank you for joining us, y'all. This has been epic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.